and welcome to Straight Outta Savannah, talking with Tammi. I'm sitting here with my guest, Kris Blinky. I'm so excited that she is here. I'm going to step aside and allow her to introduce herself to all of you. Kris?
Hi, my name is Kris. Like she said, my name is Blinky. That's my nickname. Yeah. The story behind that real quick is that I was riding my motorcycle with a group, and I had just started riding with the group here in Tucson. Didn't really know them very well. We were going for $1.50 baskets of tacos on the other side of town. So we turned right onto Sandario Road here in Tucson, and I went about 5 miles with my right turn signal on. And I ride a bike that does not self-cancel turn signals. So, yeah, ever since then, I've been known as Blinky. My last name is Hinson, but yeah, as many people know me by Blinky as by Kris. But that aside, I am a registered nurse, have been, I've been a registered nurse since 2009. Before that, I was a licensed practical nurse. I'm an Army veteran and an avid motorcycle rider, and have been doing that for about 18 years now. Yeah, and because of my background and because everything worked out correctly in the world, I guess, I'm now teaching CPR and accident scene management in my little classroom. So
Man, that's exciting. That is exciting. So what were things that led up to you stepping out into that, I'm going to call it a calling. Yeah, I'm going to call it a calling.
Well, the things that led up to it, I think that everything that we do as nurses, I'd like to believe that most of us became nurses because we wanted to help and we wanted to make a difference. And when you start to feel burned out, which I don't think I did, but I think that we should take every opportunity, whether it's something that's tiring us, exhausting us, or something we really love, and take that opportunity to make something good out of it and to learn something and take something from it. And through years of being a nurse and through leadership and bedside positions, I learned a lot of stuff, and I wanted to be able to share that with not just my patients, but with everyone.
Yeah.
Life-saving skills that we can use before we get to the hospital point.
Yeah.
So that kind of, I ended up being a CPR instructor because it was necessary in the facility where I worked. We needed an instructor, so I became an instructor, and then was teaching classes, and then later on, riding motorcycles. With this motorcycle community here in Tucson, we were seeing a lot of motorcycle accidents, and my husband mentioned a program, the accident scene management program through Road Guardians, and it's a trauma management and accident scene management class. Okay. So I looked into it. Excuse me, and because I'm a registered nurse, it qualified me to be an instructor. So I went through all the steps that it took to become an instructor of accident scene management. And this is an accredited program. The protocols for helmet removal were written by the Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. This class is accredited by the American Nurses Credentialing Center. I mean, it's a legit class. So I had to go through a lot of training to become an instructor. But I started doing that, and it was just, like with many things, just happenstance that I became an instructor for CPR, and I became an instructor for accident scene management. And then it just kind of hit me that, I could be sharing this regularly with people. So I actually established my business, Riders to the Rescue, in order to share this information, not necessarily to make a living, although that would be nice, but to share with others what it is that we can do to save lives. So again, I get to maintain my purpose in being a nurse. Yes. By sharing with others. So yeah.
I would say that you got the best of both worlds.
I think so.
You get to, connect with people, you get to help people to learn a skill that's valuable that they need, and you also get to still be a nurse, And I mean, that's to me, that's like golden, because, in this time, so many nurses are jumping ship because of the burnout that you mentioned, because there are so many things happening and the changes that have happened, I can say over the years, they're not, most of them aren't good. And it doesn't support the reason why we became nurses. We became nurses to take care of people, to be a light, to help them to recover, in all kinds of different scenarios. I mean, it can go all the way from the regular health, into cardiac, into neuro, into mental health. I mean, in different areas, it's like you have such a smorgasbord of ways to be of service as a nurse, and so I'm excited for you that you found another way, and also I'm looking at you, you look so amazing and you look so less stressed and all that. So that makes a difference, because you can feel when people are stressed and burnt and, don't you see that when you
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, I've always tried to maintain a positive attitude, even under stress. I want to exude positivity. And I'm sorry if that sounds like sunshine and roses to those who are not all about sunshine and roses, but that's part of my personality, and it is who I am. I am, and always have been, very gregarious and very able to talk to people. And I want people to be excited about what we're doing and excited about making changes. So in leadership positions, I try to rally the troops and get everybody up the same hill. And I feel like in doing this, when people come to my classes, it's because they want to do that. So I really feel very blessed, very fortunate, because I feel like they already come to me ready for that. Yeah. And so they're, I'm so lucky. I get the best classes and the best students. They come to me with this attitude of, I'm ready to learn. I want to know how I can help. So we embark on that educational journey, all of us with the same mindset that I am here to help. And as far as burnout, there are a number of reasons why, like you said, things are not necessarily always going in the right direction for us as nurses, for our patients, and there's a lot of times I think we as nurses feel helpless, absolutely helpless. Absolutely. To help our patients and to meet all their needs while still making sure that we're not putting ourselves in the hospital.
Yes.
This is absolutely far less stressful. This is that self-care that they always tell us nurses that we need to engage in, but we all go, okay, we'll do that. We don't.
When we have a minute.
Exactly, because we don't have time. That's right. As soon as I cram this lunch, I'll go ahead and take care of myself. I'll use the bathroom at the end of my shift.
Right.
We're used to that. It doesn't make it right.
Right.
But we're used to it and we're prepared for it. Right. But it does tend to take its toll. And I appreciate you saying that I look a lot less stressed, because I feel less stressed.
You do.
I'm doing what I enjoy.
Like sunshine and roses.
That's me.
It's like, oh my God, because when I look at you at first, I said, oh my God, I can see the difference.
Yeah.
I heard about it, but I was like, oh, I can see it, because, the last time I saw you, you look super freaking stressed. And I actually mentioned that to somebody. I said, Kris looks stressed out. I didn't get to see you much because, I did nights. But I was like, she looks so stressed. And I actually mentioned it to somebody. I said, she needs to breathe.
Yeah, I really did. And the thing is, my husband brought that up. He noticed it too. And I got to tell you, again, being so focused on what we were doing at the time and so stressed out by things that I could not control, things that just, trying to be there for everyone and trying to do the job and trying to make sure that everyone was on the same page, after a while, especially when there's, when your mission or your vision does not necessarily gel with somebody else's,
yes.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you're wrong. Right. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It just, but it can cause some tension. And when you become so focused on it,
right,
sometimes it's hard to see the toll that it's taking on you and those around you. And I had absolutely no idea the toll that it was taking on me, on my husband, to see me like that, or on my coworkers. I had no idea I looked that stressed out. So, I got to say, I feel much better now.
And you you look like, I don't know, you look almost like the weight is off. You know, it's like, because you can see it, you know, I mean, well, you and I know, we talked about this. We're empaths, so you can feel people.
Yeah.
You can see people. And a lot of times, you know, especially before you realize that you are empathic, you wonder if it's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Now, did you have that experience at all?
All the time. You know, I think I frequently, my husband has probably heard this phrase more often than not. You know, is it me? If I'm the common denominator, then it must be me.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean, I know that I was so convicted in my beliefs that, you know, that we need to do the right thing, you know, and that we needed to have integrity in what we do. And even if that meant admitting we were wrong, or, you know, not making certain numbers, or, you know, when the right thing to do involves making a bigger sacrifice, you know, it just feels like it can get you some pushback. And when that happens, and when it happens more than once,
yes,
when you really feel like what you're doing is the right thing to do, and you don't have animosity or evil in your heart, you know, going forward to try and stomp over everybody. You just want to take care of your patients. You want to take care of each other. I think this is the problem that a lot of us nurses have, is our personality drives us to want to just do the right thing and take care of people. And and when it doesn't meet, I don't know, I guess a lot of nurses would say the same thing. When it doesn't meet that bottom line, you know, we feel a little, we feel a little bit, I don't want to say targeted, because that's not right. You know, that sounds very victim-like, and that's not it. I recognize that business is necessary too. Obviously, I own my own business, but again, when you're constantly facing that struggle, it's going to lead you to think, maybe it's me.
Right.
And being that empath, you know, and being that person that, you know, we're hardest on ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. There were every single day. Is it me? Something must be wrong with me. Yeah.
I love music. So when you said that, I thought about Lionel Richie song, Hello.
Is it me you're looking for?
Because it's like, I tell people, I said, even if I felt like, you know, okay, so they're telling me to do this, but I know that's wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, I know that is wrong, and that is not going to be the thing. And so it's difficult to do it when you know it's wrong.
Yeah. Or it's difficult to do something you know to be wrong, but also to not fully give the attention that you know you could do better for a patient. You know we can do better than this.
Yes.
But we don't have the time, because we need to admit this many more, or we need to assign you this many more. So you need to cut your time short. And therefore, I think a lot of us nurses feel like we need to cut our care short. And that's where a lot of us have that struggle that leads to burnout and leads to feeling helpless, and and leads to that stress that I must have had all over my face and didn't recognize.
It's like, I mean, you look like night and day. It's
wow,
so much different. It's like, wow, you know, even your, dare I say, aura.
It's nice and shiny yellow now, whereas before it was gray.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's like, you know, you can see it. It's like, okay, all right, she's out from under the stress.
Well, I want you to know that what you see right now, is who I have always been.
Right.
So yeah, whoever that stressed out person was, I was in there somewhere under all that. Well, but you know,
that's what I saw when I met you.
Yeah.
That. And then later it became something totally else, you know. But the thing is for me, you know, being the empath that I am, and being the whatever the other thing is, the intuitive and all that stuff, I can see that thing, and I already knew. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's usually most definitely a turning point, I think, for most people, where they just kind of go, okay, you know what, this conflicts with what I believe.
Yes.
So, and then you can see the turn. You can see them turn that corner where they go from being one way to another way.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, when they turn the other corner, when they go from being that stressed out, hunkered over, you know, horrible person to suddenly being carefree and, you know, a little more sunshiny. So yeah, that's me.
Well, and that lasts better, you know. I mean, the thing is I don't know if you realize, but you're in my age group. Our age group is dying.
Oh yeah,
we're dying.
Mm-hmm.
We are dying all the way from 40 to 60. We're dying. Mm-hmm. Nurses. I know so many of them. It's a shame. It's like, and it's funny because for me, sometimes this has happened to me. I've thought about a nurse that say I worked with maybe some years ago or something. And I said, well, I wonder how so-and-so's doing. And then I reach out to ask somebody that I know because, you know, I'm not where I was at for years. And so I asked somebody to ask them, you know, to find out how they're doing. And they're like, oh, girl, she died.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Died? Yeah. She was only 52.
I know. And that makes us question our own mortality, you know, and that's, you know, it makes you start thinking of, you know, what am I doing with my life? Is this where I want to be? Yes. You know, can I see myself? There are no do-overs. Can I see myself working here and going, okay, I will do such and such, even though I think we could do better.
Right.
You know,
even or though it's just straight wrong. No.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's not always about the money either. So.
Right. Right. And to be able to just a place that you saw yourself when you said, I'm going to start this business. I mean, was that one of the things that like contributed to, you know, that thought process of?
I think it did. I think it did for a while. You know, I was just thinking, my gosh, you know, is it just me? Am I the only one that sees that we can do better? You know, and again, I recognize that there are some decisions you have to make for the greater good and for the good of the business and the good of, you know, and to make sure that you keep your doors open. I get that. But again, I just kept thinking, yeah, I'm just wondering, I found myself wondering, yes, but always? Do we always have to make that decision? And I felt like we were doing it quite frequently. And
not we still are.
Yeah. And I, you know, it's not that I think that I can do it better than anybody else. Oh, believe me, I am all about, hey, you, if you know more about this, absolutely, please, I will follow you. But
it should be a team.
Well, it should be,
but
you know,
it's a dictatorship.
Well, it can be that way sometimes, you know, and it should be a team. And I know, I mean, there's a lot of shouldas. Sometimes, you know, even if you work with people you don't like, or you have a leader that you don't like, you can still see where, okay, I don't always agree with them, or I don't necessarily even like them, but they're going in the right direction and they care about, you know, where we're going. They care about me. They care about my patients. So, okay. You know, but there was a lot of me thinking, you know, again, yes, this is going to be good for us financially. It'll be good for us. You know, we'll all get raises. We'll, you know, we'll have a better picture in the community. But by and large, I still think we could do better for this individual or for, you know, I mean, these are people's lives that we're touching. So yeah, that thought was always in the back of my mind. And, you know, of course, I find myself saying, you know, I don't ever, you know, I'm not sure that I would make that decision. And, you know, I didn't set out to start a business, but I have to say it's nice that if now I can make decisions based on the good of my students. You know, I can see where, and I can adjust fire. If I see that people are not understanding a certain concept, I can alter the way that I teach it, or I can go into it more in depth without having to answer to everybody and go through a bunch of form changes. So it is kind of nice.
And that's awesome. So now we're gonna close up here, but I need to find out, where do you see yourself going with your business?
Ooh, well, you know, I would like to be able to keep this business up. And I would like to have, you know, right now I'm teaching by myself. I do have an associate instructor coming on board. But I would like to have this business and continue this business so that I can continue sharing the accident scene management portion with people. And of course, CPR, teaching community CPR. I want to touch as many people to make a difference before it's too late, you know, in somebody's life, especially like right now with COVID-19, all the respiratory issues. If more of the community came out and learned CPR, they might be able to save their grandmother or their significant other or whoever's in the respiratory distress before the ambulance gets there. They might be able to make a difference in that person's life.
Yes.
You know, but later on, as I build this business and continue this business, you know, I eventually want to get my nurse practitioner and maybe, you know, I want to help out that way. I want to make use of my life by being a nurse practitioner. But that doesn't mean I want to stop this business. I want to continue teaching. I want people obviously to help me teach. But I want this to grow. I want it to grow so that we can continue offering these services.
And do you see any more other classes being added?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'd like to add some PALS classes, pediatric advanced life support, and I'm thinking about adding some OSHA classes too.
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to be able to offer more, but I will also need help in doing that because I can only be in one class at a time. So
I mean, you're only one person.
Yeah, so I want to see this grow with more instructors too. So
yes. That's going to be powerful. I'm so excited for you.
Me too.
When I saw you were doing that, I was like, yeah, that's her.
Oh,
that is her.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no worries. Like I looked and I saw you on Facebook, I think, and I went, and then somebody else mentioned it to me, and I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. She's gonna be good at that. I was like,
thank you.
That is so her jam.
Well, I got to tell you, every one of my classes, I've been in some very boring CPR classes in my life. Every one of my classes is a whole lot of fun. They usually earn themselves nicknames as a class because each class has its own personality.
Nice.
And it's very interactive, and we always seem to have a really good time. So, you know, yeah, I'm quite happy with it.
That is so good. All right, so share with the people where they can find you, if they would like to take your classes, if you want to be able to find you online, if you have Facebook or Instagram or whatever you have. Just share where they can find you, and we'll also put it in the details in the post, in the bottom of the post as well. Okay.
My website is riderstotherescue.com. And that's, all one word, no letters or no numbers in it, rather. So riderstotherescue.com. We are on Facebook as Riders to the Rescue and on Instagram as Riders to the Rescue. And you can find classes and you can schedule classes through that website and through the Facebook page right now.
Nice. But
my physical location, the classroom, is located at 7290 East Broadway Boulevard. We're in Suite 136. It's right next door to Hooters on Broadway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's right by Broadway and Kolb. It's nice. just east of Kolb on Broadway. So
nice. That is so nice.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on, Kris, and joining me on Straight Outta Savannah, Talking with Tammi. I hope that it inspires all of our listeners and that they all want to run out and start a business, and that they see the natural progression of how it can come out, and that was one of the things I wanted to bring out, was how it can naturally progress, how, you started and you're still continuing doing the same thing that you were doing, but now you're doing it for yourself. And also you're actually helping people, which is the other thing that you wanted to do. And how it just naturally progressed. And I try to bring these things out because I want people to know that the things that you already were doing in your life and the things that you know how to do, they actually can be a business for you. A lot of times, just because you know it and you can do it easily doesn't mean that other people can't. It's a gift and a skill. I'm excited for you, Kris, because you stepped out and marched out and you handled that thing.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, sometimes it just takes a little, you know what, I'm going to do it. So thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're so welcome. And if you have one thing to say to somebody that is watching this and they say, I always wanted to start a business, what advice would you give them?
There are no do-overs in this life. You get one chance, one life. There might be multiple chances in your life, but you get one life to do this. So, take your chance.
All right. So with that, we're going to exit this place. Thank you so much, Kris, for joining me. And those of you that are watching, make sure you comment and let us know that, you have watched, you've seen it, and, you know, let us know what you get out of it, you know, because that's something that I'm interested in. I really want to know that, you know, you were inspired, because that is one of the reasons why I do this show, because I want to inspire people to live their best life, to step out, to be that entrepreneur, to be that person that is changing the planet. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. Bye now.